Greetings and welcome to Teaching Tips and Thoughts. In this video, I am going to talk about how I've used my online labs and kind of converted them to quizzes for a few reasons that I'll discuss. So why do I want to convert online labs and do them as quizzes? Well, for one thing, it's easier to grade. Of course, if I have multiple choice questions, those are automatically graded and that speeds up grading time. So in my case, much of the quiz can be automatically graded. I also find that it focuses the students on trying to better understand the simulators that they're using. So I use a lot of simulators for my labs, and that allows the students to focus and understand them a little bit better. They have to know how to use the simulator in order to answer some of the questions. Now, what started me with this? Well, of course, we know that worksheets make it out on the internet. So what can we do? We can make new worksheets. We can change questions up a little bit. But there are always issues with academic dishonesty. And of course, AI can find answers to some of the things for students as well. So part of my goal here was to find things and put at least a good chunk of the lab that simply could not be looked up or found easily. So what have I done here? Well, let's take a look at some of that, and then I'll go ahead and show you one of my labs. But what I've done is I've done a 4-part quiz for each lab. So each of them is worth, each lab of mine happens to be worth 30 points. And part 1 is their worksheet that they do. I just review it for completeness. Did they answer the questions? Did they make a reasonable attempt to try to answer them? So that's 5 points. Then questions about the material and about the simulator. These are multiple choice. This is what's automatically graded, and that's 20 points. So yes, this one I do still have to review manually. I want to see that they've completed the worksheet and at least made an attempt. But if all they're doing is looking up answers, then they're not going to understand the material to be able to do parts 2 and 3. And then finally, part 4, also worth 5 points, is I give a specific question using the simulator. I'll tell them to set up something, and then I'll have them find a specific value from it, and then upload a screenshot showing their work. So again, I know that they've had to be able to use the simulator to do this, to actually get the work, and didn't just pull up somebody's completed worksheet from years ago and use that same worksheet. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of my classes here. So we'll go ahead into let's look at lesson 2. That's one of my labs here that I use. And there is a lab that looks at planetary orbits. Now we can go ahead and look. So what do I do for the quiz? I gave the instructions there. Here are the 4 parts that I already talked about. They've got to upload their worksheet. They have 15 multiple choice questions and then one written response question. So when they start the quiz, they will then see here's the option to go ahead and upload their file. So they're going to go ahead and upload their file here. And then once they're done with that, they're going to get their first set of multiple choice questions. And then they'll get their second set of multiple choice questions. Again, let me go back one here. Some of them I added things like putting in images, so they actually have to be able to read the image to be able to understand what's going on. So when they're asking specific questions, sometimes it will tell them multiple answers. But that way, again, a lot of these things are things that just can't be looked up. You can't just necessarily Google it. Well, you can with the image, but again, it's more work for them. Now, let's go ahead and go to the next page. This actually uses the simulator. So I tell them to open the simulator, select certain parameters, press numbers, and read off one number and tell me what that is. So again, it requires them to look up the simulator because they have to actually find the value that the simulator gives, not just necessarily something that they can Google. And then finally, at the end, I give them one written response. Again, I tell them to open the simulator. I tell them to change certain settings, and then identify something in there. Their idea is they type their answers into the box here, add a file, upload what their screenshot is so I can take a look at that, and then grade that. Again, it shows me that they're using the simulator and that they have a little bit better understanding than, again, just looking up the answers online. So that concludes this discussion on using the online labs and converting them into quizzes. I'll be back again next time for another teaching tip and thought. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you next time.